June 4th, 2010, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in suddenly summery Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies.
For June 4th, 2010, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. 2 packs a day? Bad. At 2 years old? Ha! Only in Indonesia. Ford announces the end of Mercury. No one notices. Israel proves humanitarian bent by attacking Gaza aid ships, killing 10. Willis, it turns out, was talking about outliving Arnold. Dennis hops off this mortal coil. Art Linkletter's hearty endorsement loses its zing. The BP oil disaster. Hey gang, it's time for celebrity birthdays once again. I got my cake hat on, let's rock! For Saturday the 29th, John F. Kennedy, dead, and Danny Elfman. For Sunday the 30th, Mel Blanc, dead, and Clint Walker. For Monday the 31st, Clint Eastwood and Joe Namath. For Tuesday the 1st, Marilyn Monroe, dead, and Pat Boone. For Wednesday the 2nd, the Marquis de Sade, dead, and Johnny Weissmuller, dead. For Thursday the 3rd, Ransom E. Olds, dead, and Tony Curtis. For Friday the 4th, Dennis Weaver, dead, and Gorilla Monsoon, dead. That's Celebrity Birthdays. I'm Paul Torville, and I'm done! We'll have stories in detail right after this.
I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist.
Fox News gleefully reported that President Obama's planned Memorial Day remembrance was thwarted by thunderstorms. Obama was in Elwood, Illinois, planning to honor the nation's war dead at the Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery there. After waiting a half hour for the weather to let up, Obama moved on to meet with wounded veterans at Jake, Illinois. Pope Benedict XVI, a universally recognized symbol of unity and healing, visits the Mediterranean island of Cyprus beginning today. Cyprus has long been a disputed territory, with Greece and Turkey pulling back and forth for decades. The Pope, who tied Islam to poverty and violence, declared condoms to be part of the problem, not the solution to AIDS in Africa, and remarked that South American natives wanted to convert to Christianity well before the arrival of European conquerors, hopes to do something to promote peace and prosperity. Given the Pope's track record, perhaps he should try inciting a genocide among the minority Turkish Cypriots. Alan Tipper Gore? Gary Coleman received a bonk on the head in a fall at his home, was admitted to a hospital in Provo, Utah, and was dead by lunchtime 2 days later. Coleman's life, while showered with early fame, went on to be one of almost ceaseless ridicule and parody. Now that he's dead, the media swirl seems to center on the possibility that his wife, young enough to be his daughter, may have either willfully or accidentally caused or contributed to Coleman's injury and subsequent death. The police are, how does one say, not convinced? While Americans were finishing up their pasta salads and cleaning their barbecue grills in anticipation of Memorial Day celebrations, Israeli Defense Force commandos were opening fire on and boarding a flotilla of ships intending to deliver aid and supplies to Gaza, which is under a blockade of the IDF's naval forces. What's going on here? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts. Well, for starters, Israel is always right. Because blah 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 Jesus, blah 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 second coming, blah 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 Holocaust, blah blah Jesus. Blah 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 Holy Land, blah blah blah. Amen! That's about what I expected. Look, Less than 20 years after Germany began its campaign to exterminate the Jews, the United States conducted the Berlin airlift to provide a steady stream of needed supplies to West Berlin, a West German city blockaded and surrounded by communist East Germany. Israel has been bombing, isolating, starving, blockading, and displacing these poor people for decades. Am I to understand that the only reason the U.S. can't muster the political will to do something about this is because Israel is not communist? That's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. And now, here's Moose Weintraub with the Sports Half Minute.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Here's your Sports Half Minute. I'm Moose Weintraub. Inner tube water polo seems to be having trouble gaining traction. In the
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. The Financial Times has reported that Google is cutting out internal use of Microsoft Windows because of security vulnerabilities, which left the company open to Chinese attackers in January of 2010. Google, which already makes extensive use of Linux in its back-office operations, will move to Mac OS, Linux, and its own Chrome OS for desktop purposes. Fortunately for Microsoft, Google is not a major player or opinion maker in the IT world, to say nothing of Google's very limited impact on ordinary consumers. We'll have your exclusive pastcast weather and the final news roundup right after this. You'll notice that when you watch NewsUndies, I'm always wearing a shirt from the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave. Well, now you can too. You can help support NewsUndies by going to the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave and getting some kitsch. And now, here's your exclusive pastcast weather for the week ending Friday, June 4th, 2010.
In the Ohio Valley, there were thunderstorms, followed by sunny, warm conditions. The Deep South had scattered thunderstorms, followed by scattered thunderstorms. The Upper Midwest had scattered thunderstorms, then cool sun.
And that's your exclusive pastcast weather. Ray Stevens? Kia Carroll of Omaha, Nebraska runs a business called Odds and Ends Janitorial and More. What's the more? Well, they also offer cooking and childcare, but the big more is the availability of topless, bottomless, or nude service. Tacky? Yes. The whack job part is that Nebraska's state obscenity law prohibits any nude performance. So don't expect a local staging of Hair or Equus anytime soon. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? BP, that's British Petroleum, has lost roughly a quarter of its market capitalization since the beginning of the Deepwater Horizon disaster about 6 weeks ago. No one knows how much oil has leaked, is leaking, or will leak. Estimates vary wildly from 200,000 gallons per day up to a stupefying 4.2 million gallons a day. BP continues its other operations as if nothing is going on. Maybe we can give them a little incentive to focus on the doings in the Gulf of Mexico by not distracting them with retail operations. Just a thought. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. Remember, NewsUndies is a weekly show, and we'll be back on Friday, June 11th with fresh undies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, email your story tips to undies@newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be asking Tipper Gore to return that ruby-encrusted copy of Darling Nikki. No, really give it back.